I was just talking with BB Shea about something private and important to me. I was asking if maybe he had an opening in his department for my son to come in and do a little internship. I'm trying to get him in up at Appalachian State now.
Oh, really? Well,
this is just lie.
Just see what happens. Well, we're certainly...
well, you see, in the olden days, he could have come in and, alphabetized the album collection, but there are no more albums, no more CDs.
It's all on computer now.
Yes.
So I said to BB Shea, what have you got for him, maybe? Is there anything he can
Could he
do?
wash the van?
Maybe he could wash the van for you. Something like that. And then I was, I think BB Shea had a good suggestion. We have a friend here who works in radio and television. Who's
not Dave.
Not Dave.
Way more talented.
Not Dave. No. Who's a superstar up at Appalachian State, where I want my son to get into school. And BB Shea said maybe you could have him write a letter for my son. Now,
or our associate?
Our associate. Usually when our associate comes in, he'll go, "Hey, Chris Kelly." I go, "Oh, hey, how are you?"
I'm busy.
But today... get in here!
Get you!
Come on now!
What's going on with you?
You feel like writing some letters? You feel like making a phone call?
If I'm not mistaken, what you're attempting to pull off here, Kelly, sounds familiar, and I think they called it Varsity Blues.
That's right.
The scandal that rocked the Hollywood world.
This is Varsity Blues 2.0.
You're the new Lori Loughlin.
I am the new...
You're the desperate housewife.
I'm Felicity Huffman. I'm Massimo. I'm getting my hands dirty a little bit here,
Without fashion.
That's right. Maybe I can get this boy on a dry rower and get his picture and say that he's a rowing champion.
Put him on the crew team.
Let's get up there for crew.
To think you railed so hard against her, too.
Yeah, I know.
And now look,
demanded
here
me.
you said you were just like her trying to cash in favors.
I'm just saying, try to help the boy out a little bit, see what happens.
Is your son sort of on board with this plan, or is he... is this news to him?
News to him. Haven't discussed it with him yet. The other day, my wife said, "Is there anything you can do up at Appalachian State?" And I said, "No."
School you turned your back on?
I said, "No." I cheered for North Carolina against Appalachian State the other day, and they know that. And in fact, I went up.
Word gets around.
Listen, I went up for the 50th anniversary of the opening of the radio station there, WASU. They interviewed me for 45 minutes. I wept on camera. They showed 3 seconds of that. They just looked at me, and they were like,
That's enough.
Right. I said, "What was your
I
time?"
also worked here.
Right.
It was great.
That's right. Now, the colleague I'm talking about, he was in it for he emceed the thing. They love him up there.
Oh, yeah.
So when he comes in today, I'll just be waiting. I'll give him a big bear hug.
Yeah.
Get in here.
Yeah.
You.
It's been too long.
What are you up to?
Let's talk Appalachian State, huh?
If I were to rough out a letter, could you just sign it?
Put your name on this. You think I can do that old trick where I show him something else and have him sign it? Oh, there it is.
And then just kind of transfer one signature to another.
To another. Do it that
piece
way.
of paper.
And he won't realize exactly what he's signed.
Hey, it's good to know people.
Woo, it's a great day to be a mountaineer.
Yes.
That's what I'll say to
right.
it.
Yes.
That'll be wonderful. All right, but that's neither here
Maybe
nor
you could
there.
put your son on take him to like a sporting goods store and have him stand on a snowboard.
Yes. Put the goggles on. Take him over to one of these places that sell skis and such.
Toboggan on him.
Yeah, man, and then just green screen him.
Woo.
Yep.
Put him out there.
That's how you do it.
Put him on I'm sure that would look really good. The way I would do a green screen. I'm just shushing down the mountains here.
Be like a James Bond movie from the 70s.
Yeah,
where
I
he's
ski Yeah.
skiing with a parachute.
For your eyes only.
That's what it would look like. That's
All
right.
those people are dead. I haven't made that car in 30 years.
He's been skiing for a while. He's really looking good.
Do they have snowboarding scholarships?
They might at
Yeah,
this
they
point.
probably
up there.
do.
Well, they
Possibly.
might. It's possible, yeah.
Like if you're maybe at like Colorado.
Yeah.
Colorado State.
I could see something like that.
He could set the trend for Appalachian State. There you go.
I could.
Be the
Well,
first person with the
Yeah.
We mocked this too. BB Shea sort of opened the door, but we mocked it when they said, but there are now video game scholarships.
Oh, I know. There are
teams for that.
tons of stuff like that going on. I bet eventually there'll be social influencer degrees, that you can
Yeah,
get.
like a special program.
Just talking about that the other day. May already be. Who knows?
They got a beer brewing scholarships up there too.
Beer brewing
Scholarships, yes.
Yeah, they do.
Isn't that crazy?
It's wild.
The world we're in. Now, BB Shea, what you do every week, you could teach rap. I mean, if there was
Probably.
such a class,
Yeah.
you could teach it because you come in here, you come up with a fresh new rap to wrap up the week every week on this program. How was this week's process, the creative process for you?
It was tough. It all came last minute, but I'm here with it, so we're all good.
Okay.
Last minute means like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
A last minute rap, and are you pleased with it?
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
Okay. A few weeks ago, Chris Demm asked for a beat. He said that would improve it. I think he's liking it a lot better now.
Yes.
Well, that's a fact.
Okay, because you've got. And are you dropping a beat this
we
time?
got a beat today.
Yes.
All right. Is there any setup needed for this?
No setup, just drop that thing.
It's dropped. Here we go.
All right. All right. First things first, rest in peace to the queen, the one out in London. I don't mean Chris Demm. Back up in this place for the Friday rap. Let's get this over with so Demm can take a nap. BB Shea is here, it's garbage time for the win. It's Friday, Demm. I'm surprised you made it in. Demm, you're the man, you got my utmost respect. You come into work and you do the job correct. For 40 years long, you've been doing the job with how it's supposed to be, just to get 10% off of your groceries. I ain't here to judge, get it how you can. Demmers round the way all say that you're the man, you don't dish, jockey, jaw, jack, you stay doing the most. Sorry I can't say that about your co-host. The difference in you two is scary. One dines fine, the other eats too much dairy. It's not my place, I don't know y'all well, but thanks for letting me know the source of that smell. It was getting too much, turning up my belly. Now I know for sure the stink is all Kelly. I love that Kelly thinks pickle is like battle, whispering sweet nothings to his pickleball paddle. If he did more of that to his beautiful wife, the erectile dysfunction would be gone from his life. But who am I to tell a man how to live more, especially the man on the pickleball live tour? I think at this point it's common knowledge. Chris Kelly's boy is applying to college. He probably won't hear nothing until around Hanukkah, whether he should choose the military or Kataba. That's it for me. When I leave, stay calm. Uh-oh. I gotta go drop a nuclear bomb.
Well done. That
he's
was
improving.
good.
That was well done.
I think he's getting better and better.
done.
This
Man,
guy knows his
he was
stuff.
out there, man. He tore you two up.
Man, I tell you, I've been torn up a lot here lately. First after him,
Demm.
just got him, just nailed him. Queen and Demm, and here on a Friday.
Man.
Wow! And then he just took me to task as it went along.
That was one of my favorites.
Well, that wasn't good.
Damn.
That wasn't good.
Hanukkah and Kataba? Who does that?
Surprisingly easy win for the Bills last night over the Super Bowl champion Rams. 31-10 was the final. I didn't get into it. I didn't watch it last night. This Sunday, though, I'll get into it. I got into college last week. I'll tell you that.
Yes,
that was
college
good.
was so
College
good
was
last week.
Yeah. That starts a Demm Report here. Two Guys Named Chris show.
Well, I've been sort of keeping an eye on some of the live video feeds. King Charles III has taken private jet from Scotland and has landed in London and has now taken a limousine, and he is now out greeting the crowds in front of Buckingham Palace.
How about that?
He's wearing, I mean, what a mixed bag. You know, you got to bury your mother,
yeah,
but of course
right.
you're now becoming the King of England.
Yeah, really.
There's stuff to do.
Yeah.
I mean, he has to do stuff.
He has duties.
Yeah.
He has to address the nation today, right?
And she's dead
Yes.
less than 24 hours, and he's out there on it.
Well, he has
you know?
to do that. He has
Yep.
to give an address sometime today, and then he's got his accession tomorrow, which I think he goes
He
to.
becomes king, but he doesn't get the big crown.
Well, yeah,
right?
I mean, he's already king, but no, he doesn't
Right.
get the big crown, but he has to sign some stuff. They have to do some things.
Did you guys read that in the deep dive from the BBC that the crown, the actual king, was it St. George's crown?
Mm-hmm.
That the crown is over 5 pounds.
Yeah, they
5 pounds.
they note that in the crown. When
they
she
do.
gets it, it's like it's so heavy, and
Yeah, you
they're
only wear it briefly.
They're teaching her how to wear it and everything. It's so heavy, exactly.
Do they usually just carry it around,
In a
like in
box.
front of you,
Yep.
or behind
Usually
you?
they're seated when they wear it. I think they wear one that when they walk. It's the same one. It's male, female. It's the same crown.
They don't have to let it out.
No, I think they put newspaper in it or something.
Take it over to the pawn shop.
Yeah. Think of all the kings and queens that have worn it. It's the same one.
Interestingly, we've had 46 presidents. He's the 40th or 41st leader of the monarchy, correct?
I think he will be the 40th monarch.
The 40th monarch.
Since 1066.
Battle of Hastings.
1066. My wife asked me, somehow I came up with that date. She goes, do you remember the date of the, and I said 1066. And that's exactly.
It's one of those weird history dates.
Yeah. I know.
Edward the Confessor.
That's over 1,000 years.
Yeah.
They've had 40 leaders. We've had 46 in 250 years.
Yeah.
But, of course, we change it. We have elections.
Right.
So she served 70 years.
Yeah.
The longest-serving monarch.
And the 3 females, I think, were some of the longest-serving queens
Victoria.
in that 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Victoria, Elizabeth. And is there another Elizabeth? Or
Elizabeth, yeah. Elizabeth 1 and 2.
Elizabeth 1 and 2.
Victoria.
Yeah. And now he's Charles III, King Charles. Pretty fascinating stuff.
And
And
the
you
way
know,
it goes, yeah.
you're talking about how his mother just died, and it's juxtaposed against him taking the crown. Interestingly, though, for her, see, her father died unexpectedly. It's one thing when your mother dies at 96 and you sort of see
True.
it coming. But if, let's say, let's say William gets it and then dies almost immediately, like of a heart attack or something, then you've got all that grief, but
Yeah.
you've got to be king.
Way more shock to the system.
Totally. For her, she was only 20-something when that happened.
Yeah, I think they kind of set you up for that.
Yeah, they do. Well, according to the Crown.
According to the Crown.
I mean, they're like, look, you've got work, you've got duties, you've
Yeah,
got work to
yeah.
do.
Will those streaming numbers skyrocket
I bet.
for the Crown?
My wife's already watching. I bet so.
Yeah.
Beth said she was going to start rewatching.
There is, they talked about yesterday how Queen Elizabeth was such a steady leader, which I agree. A lot of grace there.
Steady, stiff upper lip,
Always. And that she never had any controversy really around her. There is one episode of The Crown, and I was trying to think of it yesterday. It's when Margaret Thatcher would not vote the way Queen Elizabeth wanted her to vote on something. She was the one holdout. And Queen Elizabeth, for the only
South
time...
Africa, wasn't it?
Yes. It was about apartheid.
Apartheid.
And Queen Elizabeth gave her opinion in the press for like the only time and caught some heat for it. And that was the only time. There's one. The episode is called, I believe, 48-1 or 45-1 because what's her name? Thatcher was the one holdout. It's a good episode. It's really in depth of
Out of all the Commonwealth countries.
Yes. They were the one that held out.
And they kept changing one word
Yeah.
in this document,
Yeah.
and Thatcher kept sending it back. No,
That's right.
no.
And
no.
she was at odds with Thatcher, at least according to that episode.
Yeah. And, as you guys know, you guys have watched The Crown. I have not. Which one was pro-apartheid?
Thatcher.
Oh, dear.
But there was a reason. She made,
of course.
Well, she gave a good reason for it. She didn't like the wording about something.
Good reason?
And,
Or a reason?
I'll have to rewatch.
Because reasons?
I'll have to rewatch. And the Queen was like, you need to go along with this because of my speech I made when I was 25. And Thatcher said, I won't go along with this because of whatever. And but I remember thinking Thatcher's really holding her on here. Thatcher was an amazing person, I thought.
Yeah,
she was an incredible leader. And, of course, so was Queen Elizabeth. And they also juxtaposed the two of them growing up in that same episode. Queen Elizabeth, as royalty, and Thatcher just working her tail off to do anything and everything as a woman.
Was she born wealthy, Thatcher?
Thatcher,
No.
She
She
was poor.
worked. And they also, when they introduced Thatcher's character, they would go off to Balmoral or somewhere, and they would always do, like, hunting with the dogs and just have fun. And Elizabeth she invited Thatcher to do that. And Thatcher hated it because all Thatcher liked, her fun was work.
That's all she wanted to do.
I do remember that episode.
And Elizabeth said, like, what do you do for fun? We do this and that as a family. And
We shoot grouse.
Thatcher,
I never had-
shoot grouse. And
I never
Thatcher-
had time to have fun. I was always working.
She said, I work. My fun is my
I
work.
worked for my parents. I worked for my dad.
That's right.
I'm
So
working now.
I admired it so much.
Sounds familiar.
Thatcher, I just was like, oh, you tell him, Thatcher. Because they were playing some little game like a...
Yeah, that's what it was. It was
Yeah.
the hup,
It was a
hup,
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 and she didn't like
She
it.
hated it. Thatcher hated it. She was like, oh, no.
It was a word game they were playing in the parlor. It was a parlor game.
And they would go, pick a pooka poo poo poo.
Well played.
And then Charles would go, hooga pooga hoo, pooga poo hoo hoo.
It's like you had a bunch of words, and somebody had to add on to it. And Charles would go, hoop, 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 and then Elizabeth. And then it would come over to Thatcher, and she'd go, I don't know what you're doing.
It sounds vaguely racist.
Yes.
I'd like to go home.
Are you the one that's pro-apartheid? I am.
I've got to get back to my racist work.
Yeah, racist work is never done.
We've got a country to run.
Great episode. If you just watch a one-off, go to Netflix and watch. It's called 48:1 because
Okay,
it was
like
48
to 1?
or something like this. 40-something to 1.
Good title.
it's a great episode, and it
All
really
those
shows.
episodes with Thatcher, who was played by
Phenomenal. From X-Files.
X-Files.
Oh, yeah. Gillian
Great.
Anderson.
She was nominated for
Wonderful.
Emmy or whatever.
Wonderful.
She really is a talented actor.
She really is.
That episode is phenomenal. And get to the scene where they're like, "Boop, boop, 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 boop."
It's true. It is a
And
play
Pip. Yeah, that's what it is. And Elizabeth gets up the next morning, and what you just said is right. She's gone. I mean,
gone.
Thatcher's like, I'm getting out of here. I don't know. This is crap. There's a weekend getaway, which the royal, she thought the royals were all just like we've talked about, just plush and didn't really do anything. And Thatcher did the work. I mean, she really worked.
Although I did hear yesterday that the staff at Balmoral, the castle that she was at, that they loved it when she was there because she liked a lot of the staff that was there, and that she would tell them to go take the evening off, and she would do the dishes after they were done eating.
Yeah.
She'd grab the dishes, they'd bring them over to and then she'd wash dishes and do stuff like that. She would.
Yeah, and I heard
She didn't mind doing it.
on the BBC yesterday, they said she was known to being very down to earth.
Oh, it's like Killian Demm after a promotions event.
Yeah.
When they common man it by helping the 19-year-old kid working take the tent down. I got that today, Aaron. Let me get that for you. You know what? I'll load this in the truck myself. You take the day.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Bless you. God bless you, sir.
I bet Biggie doesn't help you do this.
He never does.
That's the
He's a
truth.
diva.
We're not like him.
We're down to earth.
Yes.
We're down to earth. Just
Common touch.
As the queen was. That's exactly right.
Yes.
I loved it.
Well, the king is working the rope line there. But I mean, there are obviously hundreds upon thousands of people outside, and the new king is just working the rope line, shaking hands with citizens.
Ew.
I love it.
God bless you. God bless you.
I think it's terrific that he's out there doing that.
Pretty
Good.
remarkable.
He learned from his mother. Him and his dad did not get along. Him and Philip didn't
Oh,
get
is that
along.
right?
No,
I
they
didn't know that.
No, they didn't get along very well. I mean, when you watch, like, The Crown, for instance, Charles was always a little bit more demure, and Philip was always, he's got to be tougher, and he's not tough enough.
Yeah, you're right.
And he was always kind of a mama's boy.
It's
But his
true.
mama was never there. I mean, he was raised by nannies.
Yeah, they cover that too, where they send him off to school and stuff.
Who, Charles?
Charles. And
yeah.
Philip is just like, you got to toughen up.
Yeah, because he was a wuss. He was
a wuss, yeah.
He's portrayed as being a real wuss, as not.
Yeah.
And
Prissy?
yeah, prissy. And Philip said,
Some might use that word.
Stop being such a priss. You know? It's really interesting. It's great episodes of The Crown. One of my favorites is when we land on the moon. The Americans land on the moon, and the astronauts visit Buckingham Palace
After the trip.
Oh,
after
really?
the trip.
I didn't know that.
And Philip asked,
Fascinating.
he said, I want an extra hour with them to sit with Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin to ask them questions. And he was so disappointed because he would ask them all these questions, and the astronauts, they thought what they did was worthless compared to him. They were asking all about Buckingham Palace.
What's it like being a prince? Almost a king.
Yeah.
What's it like living here?
And he felt like emasculated after that. He was like, oh,
He was let down.
He was really let down by that meeting. I don't know if that's true to life or not, but the meeting just didn't go nearly like he had hoped. Because they were asking all about, do you have to follow the queen? And he said, well, tell me about being on the moon.
Do you cut your own steak?
And that, yeah.
Yeah. Who brushes your teeth?
Well, no, but
Yeah.
what's it like up there? Is
Yeah.
it cold?
Yeah.
Does it smell?
And they didn't even give him any kind of answer at all.
Like,
do you
"Eh,
go
it smells
to
like
the toilet?
Because they were looking around like, oh my God, we're in Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
And he was like, you've been on the moon. What do I care about Buckingham? He was so fascinated by it.
I'm going to go back and look at The Crown again.
I know, just talking
It's
about
just
this
happened. I knew it was happening.
just takes me back. Watch that 48-1 now.
I forget where it left off.
It
The whole series.
yeah, I do too.
Diana-
What's Diana?
Diana time.
And this time around, they're going to have like William and Kate. in it. It's getting to almost
I heard they
president.
cast Kate.
This next. Oh, they've taken a break from filming to honor the Queen. By the way, they're
they
not.
should.
They're not
I think
filming.
it's best.
I do too. That's exactly right.
I heard that Megan will never be cast in that show. They'll never quite get to that part.
Yeah, that's probably.
I'm sure your wife is happy about
She
that.
is happy about that.